Hey guys, this is Oli, aka Soul Warrior in Rivengard, as well as on the official Rivengard forums. And as you can see here, I recorded something yesterday where something very important is missing, and the important thing that is missing is the sound. What I wanted to do is give you the ultimate festival guide, but unfortunately I completely forgot to turn on my microphone, which means I have to record the sound over this. So if you paid close attention, you could see that the festival was about to start in just another minute. So we were like 2 minutes before the festival start. We were on 99 energy, and then I bought the energy package for the day, so I had like 199 energy to have like even more energy for the festival. Then on top of that, I had to do what every veteran player needs to do if he wants to really unlock that unit as an epic. You need to purchase the festival package. I think that's one of the best deals in Rivengard. Normally I'm not gonna run around, record videos and tell you guys you should really buy stuff to be better at this game. Normally I want to explain to you how to make the most. But in this particular case, I think it makes a lot of sense to purchase the festival package because it's really worth it, especially if you're running through those quests, which is what I am going to do for this particular festival, so you can all unlock the hero in like very high rarity. So as a quick concept that you need to understand when it comes to the festivals is that the difficulty of going up against somebody in the arena, and also the difficulty of levels. Here we can see this is a hard battle, so here we have like these 3 skulls. The difficulty depends entirely on the power of your 5 strongest heroes. So if you're equipping your 5 strongest heroes with weaker equipment, with worse equipment, your power level goes down, and if your own power level goes down, there is a chance that the opponent is suddenly no longer rated as a hard battle. He can be a very hard battle all of a sudden. So you can try this and try it with different units, like give different units the shittiest equipment ever that you have. And then there is a chance that you're going to be able to get more points for going up against someone in arena, or finishing a level in the campaign, which can really make or break the amount of festival points you will get. I'm at the point where I don't care enough, to be honest. I've played my fair amount of festivals, so now I know that I can always get to that point where I can unlock the epic hero. And it's just such a hassle to constantly unequip and re-equip your units with other equipment and keep track of who is supposed to be holding what weapon and all of that good stuff. So I've just basically given up. Alright. But that's just something for some of you. If you are in that sweet spot where you can actually get stronger opponents and stronger campaign levels by unequipping your units, I would encourage you to do so. So now the festival has started. This was recorded at 2 AM my time zone, talk about dedication, and then I was looking over the quests. So the daily quest for the day, one of them was the Warrior Slayer quest, and as you can see here, it doesn't give you a whole lot of quest XP, it only gives you 20 quest XP. And since as a veteran player the only way to ever get a summoning token is by collecting quest XP and then eventually leveling up in the quest level, you need to really try to make the most of the quests that you're given and get the most quest XP. Alright, so festival quest number 1. Win 2 lightning victories, defeat 5 enemies with melee attacks. Obviously that's not very hard to do, so the best thing you can do for these quests that are very easy is you go to the campaign, and then you go to the super cheap campaigns. So those are the 3 energy campaigns that you can see here at the very beginning. I don't tend to go for the very first one because it's a bit harder to get enough. Oh sorry, we need to do lightning victories. Yes, we need to do lightning victories, and the very first campaigns don't even give you lightning victories. So you need to go into the second level, or basically the second set of opponents, and there you can see we do have lightning victory here as an available option. It's not the first level in the second part of the campaign, but it's one of the first ones. All right, and then you also need to do kill opponents with melee attacks. So you need to make sure that there are enough opponents on the map. But if you only have to kill 5 opponents with melee attacks, it shouldn't be that hard. So we're going into a very easy level, and I'm using some units that I've never even played before. I unlocked Tokon the other day, and I don't think I've ever used his active, not even once so far. because I'm just too busy leveling other heroes and making the most of my squad. So I'm putting my squad together here. This looks reasonable enough, I guess. And then we're going in and we're trying to unlock that little festival quest by killing 5 units with melee attacks. So that should be 2, that should be 3, 4, and then we need to repeat the whole thing again. At the same time we're doing our daily quest, we're doing the Tokon quest, we're doing the Lionhead victory, and the third one, yeah, and the festival quest, of course. So this is how you're making the most with getting all of your quests done at the same time. So that would basically be the first festival quest. This is just the same thing over again. So now we come to one of the advantages of me re-recording this whole thing, because I can actually skip parts that I've done that I don't think are as interesting as the other stuff. This is just interesting because this is the first time ever I'm using the active of Tokon. So here he attacks and now he's shelling up, I guess. It looks really impressive. Looks really impressive. I don't understand why nobody's playing this unit. Alright. And that's it. That's the first festival quest. 5 melee attacks and then also 2 lightning victories. Alright. So, we got this. We got the other quest. We made some progress there. So let's go back to our quest overview and make sure that we can advance in the festival. Here's some information for you guys on the side. Alright, so we've done this, and then the next festival quest is raid 5 campaign battles, alright, and defeat 10 enemies with mages. And there's a little hint, in case you didn't know, but we know how to kill guys with mages. Mages are really good to kill. Alright, so since you want to kill 5 opponents with mages, you probably we're looking for the level right now where there's a lot of opponents, and that is 25. The Ancient Ruins Battle 25 gives you a lot of opponents. That's 12 opponents for you guys. So this is the best battle for killing a lot of units without having to spend like a whole lot of energy, because it's just 5 energy. There's another hint. If you need to like defeat infinite units, like a ridiculously high amount of units, this is not the level for that. That can only be done if you're at the elite campaigns already. Alright. So, we need to raid 5 times, and we also need to defeat 10 enemies with mages. So, level 125, campaign 125 is the go-to level for this. I think I'm making a little mistake here, because I'm playing Grandma. Now, Grandma is a mage, so that's good, but the problem is that Grandma spawns the skeletons, and the skeletons, if they kill someone, they are not mages. So that means that we're not triggering there. So here's a Darcy. Here's the Grandma doing one, and then my skeletons are too powerful, and they are killing the units, which means I'm not getting my 10 defeated enemies with mages, and that's not what we wanted to do here. This is not great actually. So, pro tip: if you're trying this, do the same thing that I just did. Just don't play Granny, because Granny is not your friend for this particular quest. She's way too lethal, or rather, the skeletons that Granny is spawning are way too lethal. Alright, so that's basically that's it for that part of the quest. And then on top of that, I'm just gonna jump forward a little bit here. And then for the second part of the quest, we need to raid a couple of times. So that is when the easy levels come in that only cost you 3 energy. Those tend to be among the most cost-efficient levels when it comes to gaining festival points, because you pay 3 energy, you get 7 festival points, and that gives you more than 2 festival points per point of energy. If you're not like at a ridiculously high power level, you can also play regular campaigns that give you like 4 skull difficulty, and if you can finish them with a lightning victory, you can get like a lot more festival points per energy spent. My personal favorite was going up in the elite campaigns against Haroon, and then in the elite campaigns I would lightning victory the Haroon level, and that would give me 28 festival points for 10 energy, so 2.8 basically festival points per energy, which is even better than what you get for the very early levels. Alright, so that's that festival quest down, and let's... Oh, now, yes, there's a new festival quest, which is win 20 campaigns, usability 30 times with mages. So this time, you want to stick with the 3 energy levels, because they are not very expensive. the thing is you need to play mages that don't outright kill all of the opposing units. So this is a bit tricky. You cannot play someone, or like you could, but then you will have to spend more energy. You will have a harder time playing someone like an Areus who's just gonna like wipe 3 or 4 of the weaker opponents. You can play someone like Pelator because he can use his active ability and he's not gonna kill anybody. Then Adazi is also a good choice because Adazi only kills one guy. Siad never really spawns that many snakes when I play him. I still haven't really figured out that unit. So he's a good choice because he tends to only kill one guy. And then Granny's effect also just kills one guy, and I just had to find a 5th mage that doesn't like immediately kill everybody. Although if it's the last one it doesn't hurt that much. So the options here are Queen Akeshru, or of course, as I said, Granny is also a good option. Yeah, Tim would also just wipe the board immediately. So here we go. So we're using the ability of Pelator, which doesn't kill anybody. Siad is just going to give us 1 snake. The Meteorite by Adazi is just going to kill 1 person. Then it's time for Granny, and then Areus is coming in. So this is my strategy here. Granny is wasting some time by spawning skeletons at the end, and that gives us 5 activations for mage abilities. And I think that's the most efficient way to do this. I didn't go to the very first levels that you can play, because in the very first levels there are not even enough opponents to get the 5 activations. So I thought this is a better strategy, going to the 3 energy levels that are very close to the boss level, boldest level, because there tend to be a bit more opponents and you can get those mage activations. So we need to do this a few more times. I'm just going to skip over these parts of the video. I eventually need to play another level. In the other level I beat my personal record of getting enough snakes. I've never seen 3 snakes being spawned from Siad, which just goes to show that I really don't understand this unit all that well. And then the Meteorite is being used to set up the Areus special, which seemed like a nice assist. And that gets us almost there. Let's just skip these parts of the video. And then we're done with the mage abilities. Alright, so we've done this part of the festival quest. Now we need to win 20 campaigns. And I'm just double checking if a raid counts as a win, and it does. Just to be like 100% safe. And that means we can now raid the very cheap campaign levels and get to those 20 wins. We also are at the point where we for the first time ever can open one of these chests. If you've never played a festival before, this is the most fun part. Whenever you've done a couple of levels and you get enough festival points, you can unlock another chest. And for some reason the rewards are getting better and better, so this time you get even essences than before. If you're paying extremely close attention and you're also looking at the wiki of Rivengard, shout out to my man Lord Nakro, who is basically almost single-handedly maintaining the wiki at this point, you can compare the festival quest lineup to the last festival, so you kind of have an idea of what comes next. This is the reason why I also had 15 arena battles ready to go, because I knew that very early on there is going to come a quest which is forcing me to play lots and lots of arena, but before I could get there I was raiding a few more levels. So the second best option out of the 3 energy levels that I was assuming I would need later on for yet another quest are the desert stages, because in the desert you get, what's it? 20 points for raiding? 20, yeah, I think so, something like that. I keep forgetting. I should just pay attention. 12 points. 12 points for raiding for 6 energy, so you get 2 festival points per energy spent. That is almost as good as going into the very, very early levels. All of what I'm saying regarding the point ratio of levels for festival points applies to players that have like a very high power level and they are struggling to find any campaign or any opponent really, like in the arena, that gives you a very high number of festival points. So if you're like not super strong yet, you have a weird advantage. It's a bit easier for you to collect those festival points. I had a long discussion on the Discord. There was someone who said, yeah, I'm a new player, and I don't think this is very much easier for me. Yeah, but I think relatively speaking it is easier to collect festival points when you're not super strong as a player. Obviously everything else is easier as a super strong player. So this part of the video basically turns into a PvP guide, because we now need to play arena battles and we need to also defeat enemies with ranged attacks. The problem for me is as I mentioned a million times now, I cannot find any easy arena opponents that will not that will give me 4 skulls as a difficulty. Normally when you're playing arena you just want to win and you don't care how strong your opponent is. So here we see in Katsuma on the opponent's side. Katsuma is not a very good unit. You just need to play warrior, move the warrior first. Then Katsuma is going to shoot. Your warrior still going to live because Katsuma is not a very good unit, as I said. And then you can go in, and my personal favorite way of cleaning up is usually going for Gix. Gix is being followed up with Dorga. Dorga is being followed up by Tim, and then the summons are going ham with a kill command by Akio, although this is not necessary in this particular case because he's playing Agna. And Agna is a really bad unit in case you didn't know, because Agna cannot deal with a lot of summons. Agna is like okay on a one-on-one situation, but he's not really good in an X versus 1 situation because he doesn't have any effect that can get rid of several units at the same time. You also saw that Agna is really friendly if you want to maximize your festival points, because none of my units died here, and the reason is because Agna, played by the AI, will always use his first turn to steal your shield instead of taking somebody down, which is really good for me because it means I'm getting a few more points. Pretty proud for myself, I did that yesterday in that video. This would have been a live stream actually. I'm still thinking about live streaming Rivengard in case any of you wants to see that. Let me know, because I'm pretty flexible. I have a lot of experience with streaming. I'm streaming 4 days a week, just something extremely different. I'm live streaming my work as a web designer. But if you want to see me stream Rivengard, that's not a problem. Alright, so second level here, PvP guide still. So this time Gix attacks the strongest unit by the opponent, which happens to be Dorga. Now here's a misplay on my end because my Tanamo cannot connect. So the way that I arranged my units is not perfect. Now the question is, do you even use the special here for Tim or not? I did. I'm not 100% sure if this was the right play. And then the other big question is, do you go in with Akio or not? You cannot go in with Akio, you need to use the kill command, because otherwise your opponent still has a Nimrul, which is now gonna deal a lot of damage and wipe 2 of my units. And then if he also had a Dorga, that would have been even worse. So finally we can get a ranged kill, so that's good. And then we can get rid of Nimrul, and that gives us the second win for the day in our little PvP guide that is basically part of this festival guide. I'm mixing up my guides. Basically we got guides within guides now. So we found another opponent that gives us a 4-star difficulty, that's good. And this is, oh my god, this is the battle that I will remember for the next 15 days. These are 5 units that all on the surface don't look very impressive. Like a Balmur, a Sir Florianus, a Boulder, an Adasi. None of these units look like really strong to me. But look at this. So none of them are moving in. Normally all of the opponent's units are all moving in and attacking you. But Balmur cannot move after he used his special. Boulder is super slow. Adasi only has 2 movement. And suddenly all of the opponents are spread out on the map. They are not coming close to me, which gives me a much harder time connecting with everybody. And then on top of that, they are all hiding in the bushes. I've never seen the AI play this well in my life, not ever. And spoiler alert, this match is not going the way I was expecting it to go. Because when I saw that I'm going up against the Boulder and against the Sir Florianus and an Adasi of all units, I thought this was a foregone conclusion and there's nothing that my opponent can do here. That was extremely wrong. So now all of my frogs are surrounding the Boulder, which can probably take a hit of 15. And then he's even gonna heal up afterwards. So I'm already in terrible shape here. I'm even lucky that Sir Florianus focused on the meteorite instead of doing any damage. And now I was hoping that my summons could turn this match around. But no, Sir Florianus with his passive, for some reason he's still alive, which is also the most surprising thing in this match. It's just wiping all of my summons. And now this is looking absolutely terrible. First turn didn't go like exactly according to plan. I thought, yeah, okay, I can still turn this around. Second turn then goes even worse than the first turn in my personal opinion. And now in a spot where I'm just done with I'm left with 1 summon. I think the pro move here would have been to retreat with Dorga, get Dorga out of the way and start swarming, or trying to start swarming the field with summons. I didn't do that here. I went in with Dorga because I still thought that I can win this somehow. I could not. This is the most impressive opponent I've seen in Arena. Kudos to him. I completely forgot the name, I'm so sorry. Let's just try and double check. And there's like nothing I can do here. I'm getting like a few experience points for my Accio. Cool, because I wanted to level him up anyway. And I can beat another unit with ranged attack, so that's also good. But that is it. So, wow. It's YY77. Alright, really good match. Cool. Props to you, man. Props to you, my man. We do get, however, a few more festival points, which means we can open another chest. And you can see we're basically slowly going places. So here we don't have a single opponent. That gives us a 4-star difficulty. We only have weak opponents like Lord Nako, who only gives us 2 difficulty. And this is true for all the other ones. So there's a very good chance. Like after the defeat, I felt like, okay, let's go for a not so challenging opponent. So Lord Nako was like just there, came to the call, basically heeded my call. Really good teammate of mine. And normally when I'm playing against Lord Nako, I'm trying to turn this into more of a challenge for myself and play some units that I'm usually not playing in my like top 5 arena squad, so I can level them up a little bit. The problem is I cannot really get rid of Tanamo here because Lord Nako loves mages and rogues. I mean Gix, yeah, Gix is almost not really a rogue, to be honest. So I kinda have to play Tanamo because she can just like wipe his board very easily, normally at least. This map is not very welcoming. This map is not very good. So here the thing is that only one of his units can connect, and that is the Queen Akeshru. So you can just stand by. You don't always have to move in and attack with everybody. I mean, on this map it's not possible to move in and attack with everybody, but you could have attacked with Gix. You just stand back and sit tight. So after 3 attacks, Gix falls, so not the best placement of mine. I should have just moved somebody else in that spot who could take a hit or 2. The Tim would have been an option. Dora would have also been an option because she has like a ridiculous amount of health. Now the problem is that Tanamo cannot clean up here, because if she goes against Gix, then Gix dies and then there's only water remaining. So there is no point using the special of Tanamo here. So we actually have to move in and just do a regular attack with Tanamo here after we get rid of this one summon. Alright, so now the opponent fortunately is focusing on the summons. As always, the AI is not very smart. Judgment Day is still a few more months away because the AI in Rivengard is showing us that computers still have to learn a thing or two. Finally, we do see the Tanamo cleanup. And here's a little mistake on my end, because I'm so used to leveling Dorga, because Dorga can level until eternity, because she's a legendary unit. That means we didn't get a ranged kill. So I'm not really doing the other part of the quest where I need to do my ranged kills. So now we have a very hard battle with 500,000 strength. One spotlight might also be an option if we go up against him. He also gives us a very hard battle, and it's just 233,000. I think I like my odds a lot more against this guy. So he's also playing a squad just like mine that is like forcing almost entirely on the offensive. There's not a whole lot of defense going on. There's no Katsume, there's no tanky warrior in this squad. It's all just rogues and mages and everybody that can deal a lot of damage. So that means that my usual strategy of going with Gix, following by Tim and then following by Tanamo is just gonna like wreak havoc basically on him. He can get rid of a summon here, which is not all that impressive. And now we can move in with Tanamo, we can move in with Gix, and now Tim is forced to use his passive basically, which is not a bad effect by any stretch of the imagination. But in a 1 versus 1 situation, you are not going to beat Tanamo because of her passive, because she's also always just going to take half of the damage. So that gives us 24 festival points, and we're slowly going places. So, this PvP guide continues. For those of you who don't want to sit through the entirety of this video, which I would understand because you were here for a festival guide, not for a PvP guide, I can totally understand if you're checking out right now. There's going to be a second video that's going to be like, basically this is going to be a complimentary series for the entire festival that I'm trying to do this time around, where I'm showing you breakdowns for all of the quests, at least the ones that are a little bit more challenging or that are pretty straightforward. If it's like a quest that just says like win 100 campaign battles, I mean, what can I tell you guys? There's only so much I can tell you about this. So this is a very interesting map, because this is the map where Dorga becomes completely useless when played by the AI. We can see that in a second here. So now we need to get rid of the Gix, because he's the one threat that the opponent still has. but fortunately we have Tanamo, and in case you didn't know, flying is really, really good. And now we can just start doing like 2 steps with our own Dorga and produce summons, while the opponent gets trapped into that little middle center, the center part of the map where he cannot really attack anybody. So he can get rid of 1 summon, but now I have like an endless supply of summons following this up, and my ranged units can just go to town basically. My Tanamo needs to go out of the way because there's a chance that the opponent gets close enough to, gets able to kill one of my units and then move in and kill Tanamo, or attack Tanamo at least. So you want to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. And then this is just a shooting range at this point in time. Like all we have to do is like we need to feed more summons, more summons, more summons. I'm just gonna skip this part of the video because I really think it's not all that exciting. This is the point in time where finally Tanamo can move in, because Dorga in a 1 versus Tanamo is not gonna win. Just like nobody's ever gonna win in a 1 versus Tanamo. And finally, after some waiting time, we can do a ranged kill and get another little part of that festival quest done. Alright, next opponent. This dragged a little bit. So here we have some options of going up against guys that give us a very hard battle. The problem is that this Russian named fellow is playing a very strong team again. We see my personal nemesis, Sir Florianus. This is a good map though, because all of his 3 range units that could connect on the very first turn are playing in the back. So we can move, we can set up with Dorga. Dorga is gonna send create an egg, and then the egg is gonna turn into a summon on our very second turn, and the summon is gonna attack Sir Florianus, which is gonna trigger his passive ability, and that should give us a good opening to then move in and do some damage with our own units. So here we see that, yep, just as we predicted, and now we need to find an opening to go in there. So Gix is always a really good start, and now it's time either for our Tanamo or we wanna connect first with somebody else. Our Dorga could take out Sir Florianus, which seems like a really good option. And now we can do a ranged attack with our Tintin and then move in with our Tanamo. And we could go for the special of Tanamo. The question is she going to be strong enough without without anything else to kill the Grandma or Nimrul? She cannot. So could have gone a different way. And now we kind of have to go for the special of Accio, even though we only got 1 kill. Just we want to make sure that the opponent cannot like really hit back as much as possible. So here you can see how strong Queen Akeshru is, in case you didn't know. Queen Akeshru is really cool because she allows you to turn like almost anything into a shade. Even an egg. Doesn't need to be like normally all of the other units they deal with summons and then the summon is gone, and that's all she wrote. But for Queen Akeshru, if she defeats a summon, she turns the summon into a shade, which is really a unique thing, because I think there's no other unit in the game that can do as much with like an inanimate object. Like even a meteorite, I think she can turn into a shade, which is crazy. On Treasure Beach, she can turn the chars into shades and chests and stuff like that. So like Queen Akeshru is a really good unit. And one of the next videos that I'm gonna be recording, and don't ask me for a time frame. One of the next videos is we're gonna be looking at the Queen Akeshru in a bit more detail, because it makes sense. This is a festival where you can unlock another festival hero. She's the last festival hero. So I want to show you guys what you can do with her, because she's a really good unit, and I think a lot of people are still undervaluing her. A lot of people still think, yeah, this unit is like pretty good. She's more than pretty good. She's really amazing. She's definitely S tier. She's one of the strongest units, and she's also versatile. You can use her in Guild, you can use her in PvP, in Arena basically, and obviously you can also use her in Campaign. She has some other very unique capabilities, because she can almost win every 1 versus 1 in Arena versus the AI, just because the AI always focuses on summons. So if she uses her active and creates a summon, the AI is gonna defeat the summon. You can just create the next summon and keep going like this. Alright, so we lost 1 unit. That means we're not maxing out on festival points. That is not great. We also saw that Katsuma's special didn't really do much, which is not surprising. In case you really didn't know, by now, I'm not a really big fan of Katsuma. Katsuma is only good if she's like 10 levels higher than your unit. Then Katsuma is really impressive. But then again, so is every other unit. I mean, I got mauled by a boulder earlier, and that was because the boulder was like 10 levels higher than my highest level unit or something like that. So please don't think that if you're going up against Hilufei and his Katsuma is one-shotting your strongest unit, that this suddenly means that Katsuma is the best unit in the game. She's not. She's just like a lot better when she's 10 levels higher than your units, but the same is true for every other unit. Alright, let's keep going with our little PvP guide. This time around we need to like rearrange our units a little bit to make sure that Giggs can hit 2 opponents with his special. Giggs' passive is really the key here. If he damages an opponent, that is going to be such a big difference maker, because every time you then connect, you're doing more damage. And now we see that the opponent has been softened up enough for Tanamo to go in. This is not great, and now we need to think about the kill command, but the kill command is kind of an obvious thing, you always want to go for it. Nimrod is then a big problem. And because he had like 1 or 2 life points remaining at this point. Oh no, at this point, yeah, now I remember, yeah. And Akio, for some reason, even though he looks like Ghost Rider, cannot walk through darkness. Like, what is this? Devs, can you please fix Akio? Yeah? Akio can walk through it. Like, does this guy look like he's afraid of the dark? No, he is not. So I blame the developers who don't allow my Akio to walk through the dark for this kill that I got here. This is not going well, by the way. Normally my arena matches are a bit more one-sided. But then again, I'm not like consciously looking for the strongest opponent so I can maximize festival points. Normally when I'm in arena, I'm picking guys that seem very beatable. As I guess most of you guys are as well. Alright, so next level. This time it's the regular. So we go in with Giggs, we can go in with Tanamo here. Tanamo is going to town. Agna is left. I said this before. Agna is not a good unit. Now you will see why. Oh my god, he's gonna steal our shield. Oh no, he's gonna... Oh my god, he killed his summon. So that's even like... on terms of amazingness of... Is there a word such as amazingness? I don't think so. In terms of what Agna can do, this was already like the most he can do. Wow, now he stole our shield. What are we going to do? Oh yeah, we just keep hitting him because that's how the game works. So again, if you think Agna is a really strong unit, I mean, he's surprisingly sturdy, but he's not a good unit. I stand by that. I have strong opinions against Agna and against Katsuma. Or Cyber Nanny. Cyber Nanny is one of my favorite opponents because I always level up my units going up against Cyber Nanny. But that doesn't mean that Cyber Nanny is a weak opponent. That just means that like you want to go up against opponents that are stronger than you, because then you get more experience points for your units when you battle them. So here I'm super lucky because all of his long-range units, the Queen Akeshro, is standing in the very back, which means that nobody's gonna connect on my first turn except for his Akio. So that means I don't even have to go in, I don't even have to do anything. I can just like stand back and wait for him to come. I can do a little sidestep with Dorga, and now his Akio can attack my Akio, and my Akio should survive one hit. That shouldn't be the biggest issue. Alright, and now we're in a pretty good spot here. Dorga can move between 3 opposing units, or 4 even, which should mean infinite summons for Dorga. Then the only question is, what do we do with our Giggs? Because Giggs might just like go for regular attack here, because there's not much use in using his special here. Now Tanamo move to the side. Could have been a good idea to first use Dorga, have Tanamo move, and then use Giggs. I don't know. Not 100% sure about this. So now Tim can connect. And then after the Tim connect, we want to go in with Tanamo. Just do a regular attack on Dorga here, because there's not much use in also attacking Giggs. And now it's time for kill command. In case you didn't know, Akio is a good unit. So here's the opponent's Giggs doing a little bit of damage, but not really wrecking us completely. This would have been a very interesting situation if we were playing Queen Akeshru, because it would have meant that we could have stomped with Akeshru herself on one egg, and then attacked another unit by the opponent, and the spawn will always shade on yet another egg. So as I said before, Queen Acacia is one of the strongest units in the game, or at least one of the smartest units in the game, at least when you're playing her. When the AI is playing her, not so much. Because she's always going to try and do maximum damage. So if she can spawn a shade in like a higher place, she will spawn it in the higher place. If she can spawn a shade so he's gonna take out an egg and stomp on it, he's gonna do that. Like, the Queen Acacia is really, really strong. For some reason, a lot of people think like it's a disadvantage that you cannot really direct the line of attack for the dragon, her active ability, and I think that's a bit of a problem with her. Like, she could be even more amazing, but even without that, just her active and the fact that she always tries to do maximum amount of damage with the shades just makes her a very valuable unit. Alright, we see the classic Soul Warrior combo here, let's just call it what it is, and that is softening up opponents, going in. We only have 2 summons here, which is a bit of a shame, but if we attack with Dorga and then with Accio, we might take out Dorga, but we don't want to risk it. So we need to go for the kill command. So if we hadn't gone for the kill command and we were lucky enough with Accio to just outright kill the opponent's Dorga, then we would have been in a perfect spot because the opponent would have focused on our summons, which meant we would have had all of our units and we got like the maximum amount of festival points again. So even in arena you can maximize festival points. This is basically what this entire tutorial series is all about. This is not a very fortunate map for me because there's a bottleneck on one side and you always want to have a cluster of units and do all of your attacks on them, but you cannot move all of your units forward at the same time. And also this opponent is playing a lot of units with a lot of range. So like already after the first turn we are in a really hot mess right now. We can connect with Gix, so that's good, and we can connect with Tanamo, so that's also good, but it doesn't look like it might be enough. So we're going in. Oh, actually, Tanamo is doing like some real damage here, so that's good. But now we don't really have a strong follow-up. We can hit Tanamo with the attack by Tim, and now we kind of set up our own team for the opponent's Tanamo to play cleanup, which is not good for us. So we're losing our Tanamo here. The opponent's Myvera hasn't used her active yet. That's something to keep track of. I didn't when I played yesterday because it was 2 in the morning. So now I'm focusing on the opponent's Tanamo, which is smart, and then you want to get out of the way with your own Dorga. You want to move Dorga to the side and not go for an attack here, because you need to keep going with the summons with Dorga. The opponent is now done. Like the opponent, yeah. I thought I might get 2 more summons at the bottom. I didn't. Now I'm losing Dorga. Now it's the special of Myvera, and now I'm in a really hot mess. There's not much I can do here. I can get rid of one of these guys. And these Frog Warriors, in case you didn't know, they are pretty strong. My Accio can no longer move, he's got pinned down. I have a hate-love relationship with the pin down effect. Yeah, now my Accio is done, and now I have 1 Frog Warrior, the opponent has 2 Frog Warriors, the opponent stands on a healing spot. So yeah, this match is basically over at this point. I mean, this match was over 2 turns ago. Completely didn't go my way. Not like the play that I did was not very good, but the map didn't help, to be honest. Alright, in case you didn't know, we're playing Legends League. If you're not yet in the Legends League, you will get there. You just need to have like a strong combination with your units. Every once in a blue moon I didn't feel like refreshing opponents and finding someone with even more power than me. Here's a hard battle, so I thought like, okay, let's go for another hard battle, that should be fine. I like this map, we've seen this map before. Opponent is playing a Tanamo, that's interesting because that means we see some movement. Gix is really good against Tanamo because Tim is really good against Tanamo, especially when she's next to water, because obviously his special is going to do some damage. And then she often moves next to water for some reason. She tries to maximize the space between herself and the opponent, and then very often there's water in the back, which means the Tanamo is taking even more extra damage here. So for some reason this Siat is really sturdy and cannot die from my Tanamo, so we're first going for kill command to soften him up and soften everybody else up. And now finally it's time for the cleanup by Tanamo. Only question is, where do we attack? I think we're attacking in the middle and let the AI figure out the best line of attack. That worked. We're gonna lose our Tim. Not use. But other than that, we're in really good shape here. It's just one opponent remaining. Sorry, 2 more opponents remaining, but I don't even count Aradel at this point. Aradel is not a really good one, unfortunately. But there might be somebody else out there who has like an Aradel with level 457, and he's gonna tell us that Aradel is like the strongest unit in the game. Oh, kind of forgot about the opponent's Tim. I cannot even count. Okay, but we won. Alright, that was it for our arena run. That was 15 matches. I think we lost like 3 or even 4, which is very atypical. But then again, like last season I went 55, sorry, not 55. I went X, I don't know how many arena matches I played, and I lost 3. This season I already lost 3 or 4 in just these 15 matches. So normally I'm not going up against the strongest opponents all the time. So now we need to kill a few more opponents with ranged. So campaign 125 is our best option again. To, for a little amount of energy, kill a lot of opponents. So there's a bit of try and error here. We want to use a couple of ranged units. My Vera comes to mind. She's ranged. She can kill a lot of units. That's also good. Katsuma is a good option here, obviously. And who else do we get? I think a Tavarinji could be okay, but I'm not entirely sure if that counts as a... if her active counts as a special. Sorry, if her active counts as a ranged hit. That's the one thing that I always forget. If an active ability can also be a ranged kill or not. Alright. Tim is already leveled all the way to the top, so he doesn't make all that much sense. So I think I'm gonna go for somebody else here. Or not. Maybe Arias? Yeah, okay, this is fine. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4 ranged kills. And then the big question is, what happens if you're using an active effect? I think I didn't risk it the first time around. I'm just going for regular attacks. So let's just skip this part. And then you can see that this is gonna give us a few more ranged kills, but the problem was I didn't even remember how many I had before this, so I couldn't even do the math and calculate how many I would have if I used the special. So now after this, I am using a special. I was at 24. Oh, sorry, no, this is also not the match. Okay, now we're at 36. Now we're at 36. And then I think for the first time I finally decided, okay, let's just see what happens when you're using an active ability. And it turns out that these also count, so we have like a lot more kills with ranged attack. So in case you're wondering about the same thing, you can use an active ability, and if it's like a ranged hit, it's gonna count for this. Alright, so at that point, we're pretty much done. I'm just playing any level with 3 energy, just because it's cheap. Get another few hits in, and then we're done with the ranged part. Now we're at the bottleneck that we cannot play any more arena levels, which is not surprising because the festival is basically the definition of bottlenecks. That's what all of the festivals are. That is why I'm not maxing out on arena plays, I'm not maxing out on guild raid, I'm not maxing out on treasure beach, because every time I'm just making sure that when the quest comes around that requires me to play guild raid, or when the quest comes around that requires me to play treasure beach, that I got those ready. Alright, so now the only thing left to do for me at this point in the middle of the night yesterday evening, and I'm actually gonna remove the sound for this part because I don't think this is super enjoyable for your ears, is do a lot of raiding. I went for the desert because I was kinda assuming that this morning, when I was basically able to finish the arena part of the quest, I had to use the 3 energy levels for something else. So, we actually got an item that somebody on our guild needed, which is what I would recommend. You check your units, you see what they need, and if the item that you need can be unlocked in the desert, just raid desert levels. That's a really good way to maximize festival points, especially, again, if you're like one of the stronger players. But that is like the little run through that should explain to you how to get the first 4 quests done, all within the span of like 24 hours, at least if you had some arena runs still open. That is important. As I said, you want to save all of those. And yeah, that's basically part 1 of our little festival guide here. And I'm gonna run you guys through some other of the quests that are a little bit harder to do, so you also have a higher chance of unlocking the epic version of this new unit that you can unlock in this festival. I hope you enjoyed this video, hope it helped some of you, hope some of you are like, oh, I didn't know there was an arena guide in this, thanks for that, this is not great, this is not terrible advice. So let me know, leave a comment, and I'm actually gonna apply for the creators program of Rivengard, or Snowprint rather, so there's a very good chance that if I'm getting accepted that you guys are gonna see a few more videos from me. If you want to see something in particular, if you want to see me like break down how to beat a level, if you want me to explain to you if a unit is good or not, just let me know. I'm super happy to record this stuff for you. Don't know in terms of scheduling, we might also do a live stream here and there. Like I said, I have a lot of experience with live streaming. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Rivengard stuff, and then I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye bye.